I'm sorry, but I cannot respect a man in his mid-30s whose mom still pays his cell phone bill. That's not a joke. That's the last text I got from my ex-girlfriend, so... Yeah, either that or my mom stopped paying my cell phone bill. I haven't heard from either of them in quite some time. Clap if you are in love with your best friend. I just do that to make some couples really uncomfortable. Yeah. A lot of you clapped and looked over and learned something about your relationship. That's fun for me. I'm sorry. I've been in a relationship for 3.5 years. And yeah, I think I'm becoming a better boyfriend because last weekend I was hanging out with my girlfriend and I was scrolling and I found out that a girl that I used to hook up with in my 20s has cancer. And I said, hey, to my girlfriend, and what I was about to say was, if somebody that I used to hook up with was terminally ill and her dying wish was to sleep with me one more time, would you allow that? That's what I was about to say, but instead I said, hey, and then she said, what? And then I said, never mind. That's growth. I didn't say I was a great boyfriend, I just said I'm getting better. My girlfriend and I were both comedians, so I've always assumed that if I say something funny enough, I can't get in trouble. Everybody in a relationship just went, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, you can roast somebody well and still get slapped. That's how this next story goes. We were hanging out in the beginning of our relationship and we were in bed and I caught a whiff of her feminine odor. And I hope I've built enough rapport to tell this joke. I caught a whiff of her feminine odor and I said, woo! That's not all I said, relax. That's not all I said. I said, woo! They're working hard on the pussy factory today. I know on a 90-degree day they can feel like I'm attacking you, but it's... You can use that on balls, ladies. I know balls smell bad. Next time you're down there, you can be like, oh, they're doing double overtime shifts in the balls facility. Call the union. My girlfriend is funnier than me. She's more famous, and they traveled Portland, recently shot a mini documentary about her. They followed her for a year, they came to our house. I thought I was going to be a big part of this documentary. I was not. You must have seen it already. Okay, my girlfriend, she tells this joke where she says, I've learned in order to find love, you have to lower your standards. Yeah, she wrote it before she met me, but the documentary just shows her saying that joke in a theater full of people, and then it cuts to me in my backyard going, just the face of low standards. My girlfriend loves me, I know that, because I have a disgusting room, and she doesn't care. Yeah, relax. I don't know if single people have to date with a disgusting room. I used to do it. You gotta open the door like, oh shit, I've been robbed! Oh my god, they stole my bed frame! Those bastards! Wow, that was not a futon when I left. That was a real mattress. Oh, and they peed in water bottles? That is disgusting! That's so gross. Alright, if you're not a judge, stop judging me right now. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. I love Portland. I've lived here for 7 years. I describe it as a city full of mostly white people fighting for racial equality, one bumper sticker at a time. That's how we do things. All my roommates, they're very Portland. They're all on the far left. I love them, but they're easy to piss off. I just come home eating Chick-fil-A, wearing all Nike, like, hey, has anybody seen my Amazon package? All of them, they're all like, you're part of the problem. I'm like, oh, there it is, 10,000 plastic straws, perfect. That's my weekly subscription. One of my roommates is an anti-capitalist, which is fine, but he's also a Trailblazers season ticket holder. You can't do both. You have to choose Revolution or Rebuilding Season. You can't do both. He's always calling out hypocrisy. He'll be like, did you hear about the Republican senators they caught on Grindr? I'm like, do your Antifa buddies know you were on the Jumbotron last night? I just call it like I see it. I don't have hot takes on anything. I was just in Vegas. I flew in. Cab driver picks me up. First thing he says, he goes, where are you from? I said, Oregon. He goes, who's your team? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, it's football season. Who's your football team? And I was just honest with him. I was like, I don't really pay attention to that stuff. And he was so distraught, he didn't even look at me for like 5 minutes. I felt like his gay son. I was like, I don't even know this guy. Why do I feel weird right now? But after 5 minutes, he changed the subject. He was like, Oregon, is that a red state or a blue state? And I was like, the Chargers. My team is the Chargers. Reverse, touchdown cheerleaders. I've chosen the wrong adventure. I heard a little kid, I was at a food truck pod, a little kid, he was like 5 or 6, he asked his dad, he goes, Dad, what's politics? And you could just feel the dad be like, what the fuck, who did that? It would be easier to explain a blowjob than politics right now. And I was born in 1990, so when I was 7 years old, I learned what a blowjob and politics were at the exact same time. I like that there was a 1 second delay. We all had to be like, yeah, you got a blowjob. My first blowjob felt amazing, but immediately I was like, I don't think I can be president anymore. It's been a good year. Not for most people, but I have had a good year. My grandma's my best friend in the entire world. She turns 101 next month. Yeah. She does not want to. She doesn't. If you talk to her, you go, 101. She goes, I don't recommend it. She's very funny. She doesn't have her mobility, but she still has her sense of humor. When people ask her, like, what's your secret? She goes, vaping. That's a joke. If you vape, you might not hit triple digits. We took her to dinner for her 100th birthday, all her friends and family. We sang to her, and the last verse we're like, happy birthday, dear Graham. Happy birthday to you. And then she goes, my last one. I swear that's what she said. The first time I heard that, I cried. But she has said it the last 7 birthdays now. I think that's just her version of cha-cha-cha at this point. At the end, we're like, and many more. She's like, stop doing that, it's working. My grandma has been widowed since 1972. Yeah, I know. And I asked her a dangerous question last year. I said, Graham, did you ever try dating after Grandpa died? And my grandma just goes, not necessarily dating. I don't think I love that slutty emphasis on the end, Graham. Did you have to wink? That seemed excessive. Sounds like for the last 53 years she's been giving it out like fresh-baked cookies. My dear sweet Graham. That's my dad's least favorite joke, by the way. Because it reminds him of his dad dying, his mom having sex, and his son being a stand-up comedian. Those are tough pills to swallow. Thank you guys, I'm Brent.lol.